Good day, everyone.
Everyone.
I
I
am
am
Oyura
Oyura
Abib,
Abib,
the
the
current
current
web
web
development
development
lead,
lead,
GDSC
GDSC
University of
University of
Ibadan.
Ibadan.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
So in
So
this
in this
session,
session,
we'll
we'll
be
be
talking
talking
about
about
version
version
control
control
with
with
Git.
Git.
We'll be
We'll be
making use
making
of
use of
this
this
material.
material.
There are
There are
actually two
actually two
materials.
materials.
One
One
is
is the
checklist,
checklist,
and the
and the
other one
other
is
one
the
is the
handout.
handout.
So
So
the
the
materials
materials
are
are
from
from
a
a
particular
particular
DevOps
DevOps
course
course
from
from
TechWord with
TechWord with
Nana.
Nana.
I'll
I'll
be
be
making a
making a
reference to
reference to
the
the
material
material
in the
in the
description
description
section of
section
this
of this
video.
video.
All right.
All right.
So
So
as per
as
our
per our
checklist,
checklist,
there are a
there are
number
a
of
number
things
of
that we
things
would
that we
need
would
to
need to
check out
check out
during
during
the
the
session.
session.
I would
I
talk
would talk
about the
about the
introduction to
introduction to
version
version
control,
control,
basic
basic
concept of
concept of
Git,
Git,
setting up
setting
a
up a
Git
Git
repository,
repository,
working with
working with
Git.
Git.
So
So
basically,
basically,
we'll be
we'll be
looking
looking
at
at
the
the
basics of
basics of
version
version
control,
control,
up to
up
an
to an
intermediate, and
intermediate, and
even some
even some
advanced
advanced
concepts
concepts
in
in
Git.
Git.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
without
without
further
further
ado,
ado,
let's
let's
get
get
started.
started.
The version
Version
control
control
with
with
Git.
Git.
So what's
So what's
version
version
control?
control?
Before
Before
diving
diving
deep,
deep,
let me
let me
just give
just
you a
give a
brief
brief
example
example
or
or
um, where it
where it
comes in
comes in
handy.
handy.
So
So
you
you
are
are
working as
working
a
as a
team,
team,
a
a
team of
team of
developers.
developers.
Probably it
Probably
can
it
be
can be
three
three
developers,
developers,
5,
five,
10,
10,
100,
100,
500,
500,
and
and
from
from
any
any
range of
range of
numbers.
numbers.
And you
And
guys
you
need to
guys need
like
to like
keep
keep
track
track
of
of
changes
changes
made to
made
your
to your
code.
code.
So
So
Git,
Git,
which is the
which is the
version
version
control,
control,
comes in
comes
handy
in
in this
handy in
case
this
by
case by
helping you
helping
to
you
like
to
keep
like
tracks
keep
of your
tracks of
change.
your change.
It versionizes
Versionizes
your
your
code
code
change
change
and
and
does all
does
of
all
those
of
for
those
you
for you
seamlessly.
seamlessly.
So
So
version
version
control, which is
control, which
also
is also
referred to
referred
as
to as
source
source
control,
control,
is a
is the
practice
practice
of
of
tracking and
tracking and
managing
managing
changes
changes
made to
made
your
to your
software
software
code.
code.
So as
So
you
as you
know,
know,
different
different
people in the
people in
team
the
will be
team will be
making
making
changes
changes
to
to
different
different
sections of the
sections of the
code,
code,
collaborating
collaborating
together and
together and
working
working
together to
together
make
to make
sure
sure
they meet
they
their
meet their
goals and
goals and
perform
perform
different
different
tasks.
tasks.
So
So
Git,
Git,
which
which
is
is
an
an
example
example
of a
of a
version
version
control,
control
is
is
would
would
help you
help you
track and
track and
manage
manage
different
different
changes
changes
made
made
to
to
the
the
code.
code.
It
It
also
also
enables
enables
people work
people work
simultaneously on a
simultaneously on
single
a single
project.
project.
The code
The
is
code is
hosted
hosted
centrally
centrally
on the
on the
internet,
internet,
and every
and every
developer
developer
has
has
an
an
entire
entire
copy of the
copy of the
code
code
locally.
locally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So
So
how does
how does
version
version
control works?
control
It
works? It
simply helps
simply
you
helps you
keeps an
keeps an
history of
history of
your
your
changes.
changes.
So every
So
code
every code
change and
change and
every
every
file,
file,
every
every
folder,
folder,
everything in
everything in
your
your
repository.
repository.
So
So
repository is
repository
like
is
a
like a
folder
folder
that
that
contains
contains
all of
all
your
of your
files and
files and
your
your
codes and
codes and
everything.
everything.
So
So
everything
everything
is
is
tracked.
tracked.
So you
So
can
you can
revert
revert
commit,
commit,
that
that
is,
is,
you can
you
go
can
back
go
in
back in
time
time
and go
and
back
go
to
back to
in
in
time to
time
an
to an
older
older
code,
code,
probably
probably
some
some
the state
the
of that
state of
code
that code
some
some
months
months
ago.
ago.
And
And
each
each
change
change
is
is
labeled.
labeled.
So what
So
is
what
referred
is
to
referred
as
to as
change
change
is
is
the
the
commit being
commit
made.
being made
It's labeled
is
with the
labeled with the
commit
commit
message.
message.
So
So
that's it.
that's it.
So
So
version
version
control
control
system, we have
system, we have
different
different
version
version
control
control
system,
system,
but
but
amongst all of
amongst all
them,
of them,
Git is
Git
the
is the
most
most
widely
widely
used
used
one.
one.
We also
We
have
also have
version
version
control
control
systems like
systems like
SVN,
SVN,
Subversion,
Subversion,
and some
and
other
some
ones.
other ones.
So let's
So
talk
let's
about
talk
some
about some
concepts
concepts
in Git.
in Git.
We have
We
what
have
is
what is
referred to
referred
as
to
the
as the
remote Git
remote Git
repository.
repository.
We have
We
the
have the
local Git
local Git
repository, and we
repository,
have
and
the
we have
Git
the Git
client.
client.
So the
So the
remote Git
remote Git
repository
repository
is
is
where our
where our
code is
code is
hosted.
hosted.
There are
There are
different
different
services,
services,
different
different
platforms
platforms
that
that
helps with
helps with
hosting
hosting
your
your
repository.
repository.
Some
Some
examples
examples
are
are
GitHub,
GitHub,
GitLab.
GitLab.
They are
They are
the
the
most
most
popular
popular
repository
repository
services
services
that do
that do
exist.
exist.
We also
We
have the
also have the
local Git
local Git
repository, which
repository,
is the
which is the
local
local
copy of
copy
the
of the
code on
code
your
on
own
your own
machine.
machine.
So the
So
code
the
you have
code
on
you
your
have on your
machine is the
machine is the
local
local
Git
Git
repository.
repository.
And as
And
we've
as
said
we've said
said earlier, every developer has a copy of the entire code on their local machine. And then we have Git client. So what is Git client? Git client is the interface that helps to connect the remote Git repository to the local Git repository. So that's what it basically does. And Git clients can be of different types. It can come in different form. I mean, it can come through the command line tool or through a graphical user interface. So during this session, we'll be making use of the command line tools, and of course, the graphical user interface does basically the same thing that the command line tools does. But in my opinion, I feel the command line tools will definitely have some more things you can explore on it that you probably might not be able to do on the graphical user interface. Um, some more concepts of Git. You have merging of conflicts and some other things. So I think this would be best explained when we get to the practical aspect of this course. So let's get started working with Git and play our hands dirty and do different things. So we talked about the concept of local repository and remote repository. But as you can see in this particular diagram, before you have the local repository, you have the staging area and you have the working directory. Okay. So for example, you have, say for example, you have a folder on your computer that you've not added those changes yet to Git. And the way we add changes to Git is using the command git add, and there are some what's it called? Some options that could be added after this git add, but the basic command is git add. So when you've not added the code using this git add command, it is referred to as the working directory. And now when you've added the code using git add command, the code now moves from the working directory to the staging area, and you need to like use the command git commit to move the code from the staging area to the local repository, and boom, you have your code in the local repository. Now once you have your code in the local repository, the next thing you do is, as you can see in this diagram here, you need to move your local from code changes from your local repository to the remote repository. And to do that, we use the command git push, which moves your code changes from the local repository to the remote repository. And if you need to like access code from your remote repository to your local repository, use the command git pull. So that's that. All right. So setting up Git repository and all of this. So let's talk about some things about platforms like GitHub and GitLab. So first of all, um, here is github.com. So for example, if you are a new person to Git and you've not created an account before or something, just head to github.com. Since you don't have an account, you can't sign in. You need to like sign up. This is how the website looks like. So just click on the sign up button and it takes you to the sign up page. So basically what you do here is follow the prompts. It would ask for your email, your name, some informations about you, and you just need to like enter those information. So as you can see, it's asking for our email. Once you enter your email, you continue, follow the prompt simply, and you get your account ready. You get to a section also here where it would require you to add a username. So when adding your username, be very careful to make sure you are using a username that you would like, because the username is such that you would not be able to like edit it later in the future. Next we have GitLab. So just head to gitlab.com and it will redirect you to about.gitlab.com. You can see it says get free trial and sign in. So you click on get free trial to create a new account for GitLab as well. Okay, so there are different ways you can sign up here. You can sign up with Google authentication or GitHub authentication, or even just sign up manually with all of this information. And with that, you create your GitHub account or your GitLab account, and basically you're done with that. So once you are done with that, you get to github.com. Okay, let me create a new tab and show you how it looks like. So once you're authenticated, going to github.com. As you can see, we no longer have the previous screen we were having before, because now we are authenticated and it is showing us a different dashboard screen. So just a brief walkthrough about what is happening here. As you can see, we have my name here. Okay, and when I click on this drop down, it gives some options here. So these options are some organizations that I belong to. These are some of my probably recent projects. This is teams that I belong to, if at all. You can follow people on GitHub. People can follow you on GitHub as well. So these are people I'm following, and probably the recent changes or updates from them. So it's just like a news feed where I can see some stuff about the things they're working on. And you probably can find open source projects that you'd be interested in, and just shoot your shot, work on them. So this is basically what we have here. So here on this right hand side top navbar, you can click on your profile. It takes you to your profile, your repository, organizations, projects, stars, gist, and so on. So once you click on your profile, you get your profile page, which is github.com slash. As you can see, in my case, it is Oyero Abib, which is my username. So this is the username that I was talking about previously, which once you already created it, you won't be able to edit it again. And so this is my GitHub profile. You can create this is a readme sort of. You can create one also for yourself. Yeah, you edit your profile, do different stuff on it, and so on. So before we even dive deep, that reminds me, one of the advantages of having a GitHub account is that as a developer, most likely whenever you are shooting your shot for a new job, interviewers, CTOs, founders, and whoever would be recruiting you, who are technical people, or sometimes even non-technical people like the HR, might or most likely would ask for your GitHub account. So you send it to them. And as you can see here, these are repositories. That is my project that I've deployed on GitHub. So they can check through it and see some of my previously done projects. Look at my code style, different things about how I write my code and all of those different kind of project I've worked on. You can see my contributions. So contributions are like for example, if I you can see this is April of last year, May, June, and so on. This is this year, January, February, March, April. So for the month of April, this is April, January 1st. So if you make probably you make a change to your project, that is you push a change actually, one change will count as one contribution. So say for example in a day I make three contributions, the next day I make three contributions and so on. So it keeps counting, and you can see um this is sort of like a graph, and there are different ways you can. So these are activities as well and so on. All right. So that's that about this. Next, okay, for GitLab. So this is how your dashboard would look like after creating an account. You can see you can create a new project, create a group, explore public projects, learn more, and do different stuff. In short, you can click on this to take you to your profile and so on and so forth. All right. Okay. So these are remote repository. They are platforms that host your repository for you. So GitHub and GitLab does that very well for you. In this session, we'll be focusing more on using GitHub. Some companies have their own Git servers hosted by them, so they don't want to make use of any of GitHub or GitLab or any other options, because of their code privacy, the proprietary nature of the code and so on. So they have their Git servers. Um, Examples of them are Atlassian that does that for you and so on. So very soon we'll see how to create a new repository and all of that. Okay, local repository. Having the remote repository set up, you need a way to connect to the remote repository, which is clone git clone the project to your local machine. So Git client needs to be installed, UI client or the command line interface. So this is a installation guide for installing Git on your computer. So I'll open this on a new tab. Let me see. Okay. So if you do not have what's it called, Git on your computer, once you come to this link here, you can see you have the GUI client options here, but as I said earlier, I will not be making use of the GUI, the graphical user interface. We'll be making use of the CLI, the command line interface. So it automatically detects what kind of system you are using. So I'm using a MacBook, and then it's just shows the option for Mac. If you are using a Windows or a Linux, you see download for Linux or download for Windows. So just click on download. I think it downloads the executable file, and once you do that, you install it the same way you install every other softwares that you do. So you just follow the prompts normally, and it does your configuration of making modifications to your system parts and all. So once you are done with that, you can open your what's it called, your command line, sorry, your terminal, and confirm that the installation has been made. So if I type git version, you can see it shows that git is installed. So if you are getting an error, so it's most likely you not installing git properly or some issues like that. So that's that. All right. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's talking about how to set up our git repository for the local repository. Okay. You need to authenticate to with GitHub or GitLab, and for that you'll be needing your public SSH key. So the SSH stands for secure shell key, which must be added to the remote platforms. Um, Getting started guide is available. Let me see. So this is a link that I'll be also adding in in the description section of this video. That it would walk you through how to get about um generating a SSH key and connecting. So it helps you to like secure secure, what's it called? It helps you securely connect with your remote repository. So you open a terminal, run this command ssh keygen dash t followed by this, and you just follow this, and you have your you have this file. Everything gets connected by itself and all. So this will do justice for that. So now how you go about it. Yep. Okay. Okay. As an alternative, if you already have an existing project locally, you can initialize a Git repository with Git in it, then you can push it to GitHub or GitLab. Okay. All right. So let's get started with that. Um, so here on GitHub, on the navbar right hand side, you can see we have the profile and we have this plus button. So you can see it says new repository, import repository, new different this. So I want to create a new repository. I just need to click on new repository, and takes me here. All right. Yeah, as you can see, it is saying who is the owner of this. So I'm the owner of it. And if I like, I can create the repository under any of the other organizations that I belong to. So the repository name, what can I call it? Let me see. Getting started with Git. All right. So you can choose to make your repository public or private. So as you can see, it says public repository. Anyone on the internet can see this repository. You choose who can commit to it. But for private repository, you are the only one that can see the repository, and the contributors, that is the people that you allow, that you grant them access to see the repository. It says initialize this repository with, so you can choose to initialize with a readme file, but I won't be initializing with anything. You can also add a git.gitignore file. We'll be talking about what .gitignore files are. You can add a license to your project and all. So we'll just click on create repository, and then it creates our repository for us. And as you can see in the title bar here, we have github.com slash my username Oyero Abib, and then the name of the repository, getting started with Git. So There's a section in the settings section where you can change this the title or the name of your repository. But take note that you can I don't think you can ever change your username. So be very careful when creating your GitHub account and make use of a username that you are very confident with and also want to like go want to keep making use of. So this is a quick setup once you create a new GitHub repository. If you have done this kind of thing before, set up in desktop. So you have HTTP or SSH ways of connecting to this. So for HTTPS, you can see we have this, and for SSH, we have this other option. We'll be making use of HTTP. You can use any one of them. They all work fine. Okay. So I'll be heading to my code, what's it called, code editor. I'm making use of VS Code, Visual Studio Code. It is the one I would highly recommend. Yeah, but if you have other code editors like Sublime Text or what's it called, Android Studio, IntelliJ, you can make use of them. But for this session, we'll be making use of Visual Studio Code. All right. Okay, I'll be creating a new folder as well inside my desktop directory. New folder. So I can choose to name it whatever. Let me call it version control practice. Version control practice. So yeah, done creating a new folder, and I'll head back to my code editor, and now I have no folder inside my code editor. I need to like import or open the folder. So I click on open folder. My desktop version control practice open. Yeah. All right. So I have my folder here already, as you can see. Also, I'll be making use of the integrated terminal in the VS Code. This is it. New terminal. Okay. So it should create the terminal under this version control practice because that's the only terminal that exists. That's the only project existing here at the moment. So so I'm using a Unix based machine, and I will be running some commands that you probably might not be able to run on your end. So if you are using a Windows machine, but I'll be providing the alternative commands that we'll be making use of, and I think we should be all good. Yeah. So as you can see, this is an empty folder. It has nothing in it. It's as clean as nothing. So now you have an empty folder that has no connection with Git. In fact, it is not even a local repository. Why? Because there's no relationship with it with Git at the moment. So let me just create a file. Let me call it readme.md. So MD files are what's it called? They are markdown files, as we all know. Okay, I think this is too quick. Yeah. So let me just write some things in here. This no, getting started with version control. Yeah. What else should I add? Let me add this session held by a Abi. All right. So I've made some changes to. I've added first of all I've added a file called readme.md, and I've made some changes to the file. The file still has not no connection whatsoever to do with Git. So how do you initialize Git to a new folder? You simply do Git init and you press enter. So whether you are using a Mac or whatever system, doing Git init would work fine. So um it is not based on any this thing that you are using. So presently, as you can see when we run git init, it says initialize empty git repository in this particular file path, users mark desktop, and the name of our folder version control practice, and it has created this .git already, but you can't see the .git because it is an hidden file. So I'll show you how you can what's it called, how you can enable hidden files to be displayed. All right. So this is the Stack Overflow question that explains how you can like display hidden files both on your file explorer as well as on VS Code. I'll be also dropping the link to this particular resource in the description section so you can go through it, especially for the window-based user. So if you are using a Mac, simply go to code here, go to preference, and then go to settings. In this search bar, type exclude, I guess. All right. So once you do that, um, you'd see these files and then exclude. So as you can see, we have Git here at the moment. So the presence of Git being added there is the reason why we cannot see the Git folder that has been created here. So what you can simply do is just click on this remove exclude item button here. So we did that already, and as you can see, we already have the folder being displayed here. So that's how to go about that. And then on the inside the folder, as you can see presently, also we also have only the readme.md file. You can also not see the .git folder because it is a hidden file, or a hidden folder, I mean. So on Mac, you just need to use the command shift command and um period icon, and then you'll be able to like see the hidden files or hidden folders, I mean. So here we have the .git. So I think that settles it. All right. So let me open the terminal back again. Um, sorry. Okay, this is the existing terminal. We are making it up. So as you can see, we have the README file, which is colored in green, and when you over on it, it says untracked. So the untracked there means you've not added this particular file to Git. And let me clear my terminal. So how do you see the status of your Git? How do you know what's going on? You do that by entering the command git status and then you press enter. So we have the concept which is regarded to as branches in Git. Git is just like a tree where you have different branches, and different branches can be different state of work of the based off of the main branch. So you can see here it says no commit yet, untracked files. So we have this file .ds underscore store. It is a file that is usually created. It is an hidden file also that is usually created when you create a new, I think on Mac, yeah, but on Windows you don't have this file created for you. And then we have the file we created there, which is the readme.md file itself. So it says nothing added to commit, but untracked files present. So we have one untracked file here, which is readme.md, as well as this .ds underscore store, which is created by default for every folder on a Mac-based system. So to track the file, you make use of the command git add. So git add, and then the name of the file, which is readme.md, and then press enter. Okay, so that's done. And now you can see that previously we had the symbol U there, but now it has changed to A, and now it says index added. So if you go back to the material we were using to study for this, in the Git handout material, um, let me see. So based on this illustration here, you can see, so we had our readme.md file previously in this working directory. When we did the git add command, the file moved from the working directory to the staging area. So the file presently is in the staging area, and now we need to move the file from staging area to the local repository using the command git commit. So you go back to our code editor and then do git commit dash m, and then you enter a commit message. So I'll just say added readme.md file. So press enter. And as you can now see, the file is no longer colored in highlighted in green, and it no longer has the A that was there before. So when I added the file, it said some things here. Your name and email address were configured automatically based on your username and host name. Okay, and blah 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 blah. This is because I've not used Git before on this computer. So the what's it called? There's a global Git configuration file which has details of different informations such as your email, your username, and some other things like that. So it says one file changed. So the one file that was changed here is referring to this readme.md. Three insertions have been made. So the three insertions is three lines. So this is line one, line two, which is an empty line, and then line three. And it says created create mode. So it's created a new file which is readme.md. So that's that. And now let me clear the terminal. If we do git commit again, I'm sorry, git status, to look at the status of what's going on, you can see it says on tracked files we have this .ds underscore store, but we no longer have the readme.md because it is already been tracked and added. So that's that. um Nothing added to this. So I can choose to delete this .ds underscore store. I can choose to leave it. But there are different ways we can go about that. So, and also you can see that you can't see the .ds underscore store here because it's also an Indian file in this what's it called, in this folder. But you can make use of this command on Mac, ls a, which would show you all of the files you have there. So we have .ds underscore store, we have the .git folder, and we have the readme.md file. So I can just delete the .ds underscore store from my command line here. Or when we get to the section whereby we discuss .git ignore, you can also see how you can exclude this .ds underscore store in the .git ignore, and it does not need to like keep showing here. So that's that. All right, so we've talked about how to like initialize Git in our project, how to make use of the Git add command, Git commit, Git status. Um, Moving on, we'll be talking about let me see. Okay, how do we push our code, which is currently in the remote, to this which is currently in the local repository, to this remote repository that has been created. So okay, all right. So we created our remote repository, which is what we have here on github.com/aurabib slash the name of the repository, getting started with Git initially. And then we also created our local repository, which is what we have on our desktop, as you can see here already. So we need to like sync both of them together. So how do we do it? When we created this repository earlier, you can see um it gives us some set of different commands. It says um or create a new repository on the command line. So this one is for a new repository, while this is for an existing repository already. So for a new repository, the one we created initially, you remember that we already initialized Git inside of our repository. That is, we already have Git in it, which is why we have this .git folder. We This git add readme.md simply means that you are adding probably some file or a file or all of your files or something like that. So it is they are making use of this readme.md as the file they are adding. It can be any other file. Git commit and then the commit title. we already committed our changes as you would remember. And then git branch dash m main, that is, it should branch to the main branch. So you can actually check first what branch you are on by doing git branch with no options, and you can see we are on the master branch. So by default, when you create a when you initialize Git on a project, you'd be you it would come along with a master branch. But there's a way you can change the configuration. We might look at that out later. So what do we just need to do is to like change the branch um to the main branch. So I'll copy this command git branch. So and now if I do git branch again, you can now see we are now on the main branch. And git remote add origin and then this the link to our remote repository. So this is the main command that links both repositories, that is the remote repository as well as um the local repository. So git remote add origin, that is, we are adding this origin is the alias, that is the shortcut to this particular URL. So you can decide to call it any other thing. You can call it what was it? You can call it anything you want to call it. So in this case it is called origin, and majority of the time it's usually referred to as origin. That is your remote repository. So I'll just copy this as well. And before that, you can do git remote to see if you have any remote what's it called? Any remote origins. And you can see when I did git remote, it did not give me anything. But now when I add this command to git remote, add origin and then the link, so you can see it's run successfully. And now if I run git remote again, you can see now I have this origin remote which has been added. And if I want to remove it, I'll just simply need to do git remote remove origin, enter. And now if I run git remote again, you can see we no longer have it, so I've removed it. So I'll add it back again, and if you do git remote, we now have our origin branch. And what do we need to do? We need to push the changes by using the command git push. So if you run git push just like this, you can see it, you get an error. It says the current branch main has no upstream branch. That is, you've not linked the main branch to any branch on the remote repository. To set the current branch and set the remote as upstream, you can use this command git push. Then you set the upstream, the alias which is origin, and then the branch on the remote that we want to connect it to main. And you can also decide to make use of this command also git push eu origin and then main. So any one of those commands would work fine. And then during our next push, we will not need to write the command in full. Using git push only would suffice. All right. So because I've not signed in earlier. It says the extension GitHub wants to sign in using GitHub, so I'll allow it. It takes me to my browser. I'll need to authenticate it. So authenticate Visual Studio Code. Yes. My password, I have it already. Confirm. Perfect. And now you can see push has been made successfully. Um, so it does some things in the background there which you might not need to bother about. Compression objects, writing objects. Yeah, it says to, that is this particular remote branch, github.com dash dash dash, all this getting started, the name of the branch. It's pushed this new branch, which is the main branch. So later, if you are creating a new branch, you want to push, you would also knows that you would also say that the new branch you created was pushed. But going on, you might not, it won't tell you that any new branch is being pushed because we already have that branch already which has been pushed earlier. So before we proceed, let me just make mention. Let's say for example you are pushing this same local repository, so different origins. So that's where you can now add another origin like git remote add and add another origin. You can call it origin 2, and then the URL would be of course different from this one. And so if you want to push to the different what's it called, the different remote repositories. So for the other one, it should just be git push, the name of the origin, the name of the remote, I mean, so origin to, and then the branch you want to push to. So now if you come back here, okay, I can now close this. Um, and if you refresh this page, you can see now we already have our change which has been pushed. Okay, so yeah, it says 2 days ago, and that was because I paused the recording and I'm just continuing it now 2 days ago. So as you can see, it says Mark. So the name of the user which it records is Mark, and also this Mark is something we would be changing inside the Git config later in this course. So the commit title was added to readme.md file. You can see till date you've only made one commit. That is when you did your git commit dash m the commit message, you only have one commit so far. You have pushed this readme.md file. So in GitHub, your readme.md file usually displayed on the home page of your remote repository just like this. Getting started with. So you can see there's a mistake here. It ought to be version control, but I mistakenly wrote typed version control session held by this. So if you click on this one commit which is here, so it takes you to a page, the commit page. You can see a list of all of your commits so far. This commit was made April 14 and today is April 16. It was made by this user Mark. This is the commit. What's it called? The commit hash. The short, the shortened commit hash. If you want to get the long commit hash, you would be able to like do that. When you click on this, you can see at the moment we only have one branch. So if you add more branches, you would also see them listed here. So let me go back. You can see we have only one branch yet. So all right. Okay. All right. In order to access our Git config file, where we have the different configurations for Git, there are different ways we can go about that. Inside this .git folder, you can come here and you'd see a config file here. If you click on it, you should open the what's it called? Um, the file and so, as well as the different content that it contains. And what is important here for us is this URL. So you can see the alias, the name of the alias we set is origin. This is the URL, and then it also has a fetch. That's information about the branch, which is in this case is the main branch. So as we keep on progressing and adding different things, doing different stuff, the config file would automatically get merged with those changes. And another way to access the file is by coming to your terminal and doing git config dash dash list. So it prints all information regarding your git config file. So that's that. And also let me clear my screen. Another thing you can do is you can do git config list. There are different options here. You can do local, I guess. Yeah. So what we have local, we have um system, and then we have global. So the difference between the three of them is that for local it is based on that particular repository. So it gives you the information, the Git configuration regarding that particular repository. So different repositories would have their different configurations. You can as well as what's it called, global. So it gives you information, the Git configuration regarding um that particular user. On your system you can have different users. So for that particular user you are logged in with, it gives you the information regarding that user. But in my case here it says users slash max slash dot git config, which is the file. No such file or directory in this file path, and that's because I've not initialized on my system yet. And lastly we can have the option of system. And also, you can also see it says I'm unable to read config file slash etc slash git config. So for the system, it encompasses the git configuration for all users on that system. So that's how it works. And now you can decide to play. So I need to like update the email as well as the username, and for that I'll do git config. Um, yeah. So that will be git config dash dash local, because I want it to just be based on this local repository and not my system. Local user dot name, and then the name of the user, in my case Ojiro Abi. And when I did that, you can see a new section was created inside of this git config file. So for the user it says the name is Ojiro Abi. I also want to create another one, which is email, and that would be um Ojiro Abi at yahoo.com. Yeah. Um. Okay. Yeah. So that's that about this. Next, I want to correct this particular error here. It says instead of version VE. So I've already changed it and saved the changes. I can minimize it, and you can see the file now changes color. It is like a sort of a yellow, and when you hover on it, it says modified. That is, the file has been modified. I'm using an extension, and that is how you can see some details in this place and all. But don't let me um deep dive into this. Um, but the name of the extension is Git length, so it helps you with your VS Code different Git stuff. With it you can see what's going on from directly from the interface, who made these changes, when was the changes made, on what commits. You can easily push and pull and do different stuff. So so we've already made a change. What do we need to do? But first, before doing anything, once you type git status, it shows you the status of your repository. Yeah, it says that your branch is up to date with origin slash main. Changes not staged for commit. It in fact it gives us some useful command that we can make use of. It says use git add and then the file to update what will be committed. Use git restore the file to discard changes in working directory. Now it says we have this modified file, which is what readme.md. It says we have some untracked files also, and in order to track them we should use this command git add and then the name of the file. So before going further, let's use git restore, and then let's talk about what git restore does. The name of our file that we want to restore .md. Once I click on enter, you can see the file first of all no longer shows this the yellow highlights that it had previously, and secondly the change that we made to this file, which was that we updated virson to version ver. You can see the change has been reverted back. So using git restore would discard the changes that you have in your working directory. So now if I do git status again, you can see now it says the branch is up to date. you can see it does not give us this section that we had previously because there's no changes in our working directory. It only gives us this the one for this untracked files which we talked about earlier. So let me correct this back to version and save it. Let me clear my terminal. Okay, so if you are using a Windows system, if you use the command clear, it won't work because the command is a Unix command that is for Linux and those varieties. So in order to like clear your terminal, you use CLS instead, clear screen. So that would clear your terminal. So yes, if you do git status again to check the status of your repository, you can see now it says we have some changes that has not been staged yet, and we can do git add and the name of the file readme dot md. So you can press enter, it works fine. You can also do git add and then period. So what period does is that it adds all changes, okay, every changes that has been made so far, it add them, it stages them to the repository. So if I do git add and then this period, it will also add this dot ds underscore store file there. So let's just do that, and then let's do git status. So you can now see we have two files. It gives us the update of them. Previously it highlighted these ones as red, now you can now see them as green here. So we have a new file which is what .ds underscore store. So it refers to this as a new file because it has not been earlier staged, or it has not been earlier added on git, while we have a modified file which is our readme.md file. And next we can do git commit dash m, and you can enter your commit message. So here I'll say updated readme.md file, and let me see. Okay, so it says your name and email address were configured automatically based on your username and host name. Okay. Please check that they are accurate. You can suppress this message by setting them explicitly. Run the following command and follow the instructions in your editor to do this. Alright. So we were all to like have done this previously. After doing this, you may fix the identity used for this commit with this. Okay. Git commit amend and then this. Okay. So I discovered we made an mistake earlier. Here in the config, we also have all of the user information inside this user section, and not having this email separately. So the command we used for that was okay. So for adding the username, we use git config local user.name and then the name, which is correct. But for the email, it ought to be user.email as well, not email.name. So user.email and then the email address. So as you can see, it has updated this already. So you can simply just remove this manually and then save the file. So that's that's all that needs to be done here. Next. Alright, so as regards this, we were getting an error here, like not really an error, but it's a warning or some information. Yeah, it's an information actually. So it says the name and email address were configured automatically based on um your username as well as your host name. So it is giving this one information because it has not previously configured any name and email. So in order to do that, we just need to run this command. As you can also see, it has given us a suggestion of how to fix that. Git config global and edit. So global, as we said earlier, is for this computer. If you want it just on this local repository, you can change it to local. But you should know that you should understand the concept of inheritance. So if you have your configuration, which is how will I say it, which is for a particular repository, and you have the configuration which is for that particular user, and then you have another configuration which is for the entire system. The one for the user, if you are making any change, say for example you have your username for all three of those configurations, that is for the local, for global, as well as for system. So if you have username, different username for all of those three, and you are making a change to a particular repository, so the one for the information based on that local repository is what will be used, and it won't go and use the one from the what's it called, from the global. But if you don't have any information for that particular stuff from the local, then it will resource to the global. And if you don't have it for both the local and global, then it will resource to system. So I hope you understand that. So let's run the command git config global edit. When you run that, as you can see, it says this is git per user configuration file. So for this user, which is Mac, the name is Oyura, the email is email is equal to mark, which is not correct, and then I can update that. Okay. So this is Vim, I guess. So the Vim editor is open inside of our terminal. You can edit that if you're a Mac user before, or if you're familiar with um what's it called, Vim editors. You just type I, so for the insert mode space, and then you update this. You have it at um, yahoo.com, and then once you are done, you type escape, you press escape, colon WQ, which is right, and then quit. So it has done that. If you open the file again, you can see our change, um, which is what we did, and then just type on colon and Q quit to quit that. So let's check what we have here inside of the inside that of the local. Okay. Um all right, so we already have our username and email here already, which we already shared previously. So I can just close this. Yeah. All right. Let me clear my screen. Git status to check the status of our repository. As you can see, it says nothing to commit. I have a working tree. My working tree is clean. My branch, your branch is ahead of origin slash main by one commit. So what it means by this is that presently now on my local branch, on my local repository, I have two commits, but on my remote repository, yeah, I have just one commit, as you can see. So it knows that this particular branch and this particular local branch and this remote branch are not in sync together. So I need to update that. And it has already given me a suggestion, that is I should use the git push to publish my local changes. Git push, and then I'll just type on enter, and then it pushes. So previously we had to add the origin, which is our the alias for the remote repository, as well as the branch that we wanted it to push to. But we've done that already by setting the upstream initially, so you don't need to do this again. You can simply just do git push, and then it pushes the change. Yep. All right. So if I come here and refresh, you can see now the version has been updated. This is now, it says the last update we had here is updated readme.md file. You can see the username has been changed also from Mac to Oyura Bib, which is because we updated our config file. And if I go on commit, yeah, Okay. So I made these changes 9 minutes ago. Yeah. So you can as well make changes even from the what's it called? From this say GUI here. You can see there's this button here that says the pencil button, that is you can make edit. If I click on it, it takes me to the readme.md file. I can make different changes to it. Once I'm done with the changes, I can come here and commit the changes, the commit title, a description about the commit. You can see here we have my different email addresses. Commit directly to main branch, or I can create a new commit, sorry, a new branch for this particular commit, and then make a pull request. So we'll talk about creating new branches later, how to do them, and also the concepts and use cases of pull request. So that's just by the way. So I'll simply just go back now, and yeah. So So because of the what's it called, the extension I'm using, the git lens, you can see it says EU, that is I, 6 minutes ago. The changes were made 6 minutes ago, and uncommitted changes. Actually, that's been committed. Yep. Yep. So that's that. Okay. So we already explained this already. As regards our under we are making use of. So let's talk about the concept of branches. What we make use of branches for. So first of all, look at this what's it called? This image that we have here. You can see we have the master branch, which is the main branch. Okay. We have it. We have each of these boxes are the commits that are being made over time. Okay. And now we have branches which I explained a little bit earlier on. So the concept of Git is just like a tree with different branches spanning across, and then you have the main branch, which is the one from the root. Okay. So what? Okay, branches are used for better collaboration. A main branch, which is also referred to as a master branch, is created by default when a new repository is initialized. Each developer can create temporary branches. That is, different temporary branches can be created for different reasons. The major reasons or the major reasons of creating branches are there are two which I know. When adding a new feature to a code, which is one, and secondly, when fixing bugs or stuff like that. So for each bug that you want to fix, you create a new branch for that, and for each feature that you want to fix, you also create a new branch for that. Okay. So these are some examples of some common branch names that we can have by convention. So we have the main branch, we have the dev branch, we have the feature branch. So an example of this feature branch would be something like feature slash authentication. So you already people or other people already know that okay, this person is working on a feature, and the feature the person is working on is authentication. Or you can have something like bug fix slash fixing nav menu, so they know that this person is working on a particular bug, and then the bug he's working on is fixing the nav menu. So these are best practices that we should adhere to when working on GitHub, when collaborating together. Okay, so when creating a branch, you should always ensure that every branch that you create is based on the main branch. So that would save you so much stress. Because the reason is because when you create a branch based off the main branch, you make your changes, and then what do you do next? You merge those changes back to the main branch, and then you can see here we initially add these gray boxes, or is it ash? I think it is ash. So these ash boxes, and previously you can see this feature branch here, which is colored blue, color blue. Um, After the change has been made, it is now matched onto the master branch. So this one person working on this bug fix, when they are done with it, they also merge it on top of this. For this feature too, they also merge it on top of this. So whenever you are working, you should always ensure that you commit your changes as soon as they are being made. You merge your changes as soon as they are being made, so as to avoid conflict as much as possible. We would always have conflicts no matter how careful you are. But going on um in this course, we'll see how to like fix those conflict changes and all. So it says let's continue. When finished, the complete branch can then be merged back to the main branch. So yeah, and then the goal of this is to have a stable branch, stable main branch. So that is very important. The main branch. So at every point in code in our application, the main branch should be a branch such that it is production ready. It is not a work in progress. Do you understand? And it is always production ready, production in a production deployable stage. Yeah. So now we'll talk about the concept of merge request and pull request also. So best practice for using the merge request or pull request, they are the same thing actually. But I think on um okay, I'll need to confirm that. Let me check here. For GitHub, I think they use I can't really remember, but I know GitHub uses one of these two, while GitLab uses the other one. So they are both they are both the same thing. They mean the same thing. They do the same thing. Yeah. So other developers review your code changes before merging. So that's basically what merge request is for. So the way it works is like this. There are different people working on different things in your repository, and then you have a senior developer, or you have a developer that you report to, or you have a more experienced developer on your team. So what you do is you make your different code changes, you add them, commit them, push them, but you don't push to the main branch. You create a new branch, you push to that new branch that you've created, you push the change, and then you assign that particular person to review your code changes by creating a pull request. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've remembered already. So pull requests are used on GitHub, while merge requests are used on GitLab. So you create your pull request and then they can review the code. If the code works fine, there's no issues, everything goes on smoothly, then they can accept the what is it called, the pull request, and then it can be merged onto the main branch. But if there's any issues, best practices is that they should not fix the code for you. But what should be done is that there's a section there which we'll explore very soon. What would happen is they would there's a comment section where they can add comments on different things about the code. They will explain to you what's wrong with your code, and then you can fix the code by yourself. So you learn more, you learn you get better, and then after that after you've fixed your code based on their description or whatever, you make another pull request again, they check it again, and if they are now satisfied, they can accept the pull request, and then it can be merged. So that's that. So we refer to the person that is helping or that is reviewing the code as a reviewer. They can either approve or decline merge request. Yeah. Why to know Git as a DevOps engineer? So we don't really need this. It's not for this section. We don't need this as well. So these are some Git cheat sheets. So like quick commands for Git and all. Okay, there's another one here also. So these are some what's it called? Some best practices can add to another set of best practices. Okay. All right. Concept of branches, merge requests, deleting branches, and all of this. So let's get into this. All right. So I'll minimize this .git folder. Let me create a new file. Um, let me call it main.js. All right. So I created a new file main.js. So we'll be talking about the concept of .git ignore and what it do. So for example, if you have some files in your code that you do not want to be tracked by Git, and also, okay, you don't want them to be tracked by Git, so that's where Git ignore comes in handy. So Git ignore, so that is ignore some particular stuff like say you get. So let me create the new this new file. Oh, sorry. Um, on no. Okay. So dot um git ignore. Yeah. So I created this new file already. So let's say the file I don't want to be the file I want to ignore is um the main.js file, main.js, and then I click on save. Okay. Okay, alright. So after adding this main.js file inside the git ignore file, you can see it's no longer being highlighted in green, and that's because it is no longer being tracked by Git. So if I remove the file now and then I save my .git ignore file, you can see it is now being tracked again by Git. So that's how it worked. So previously when we had our ds underscore store file being tracked by Git, but it's not a file that we want to be in our remote repository. So now we'd learn how to remove that file from the remote repository and how to add it to our Git ignore file very soon. So let me just make some changes inside of this main.js file and we can commit it. Okay, so just a simple console.log statement. Um, hello world and save. Yeah. So as usual, if we do git status, it shows us the status of our git repository. We have some untracked files. The .git ignore file itself has not been tracked. And now it tells us how to like track it by using the git add. So as we said earlier, if you use the git add, and then just specify the file, it adds just that file. But in this case, I want to like add all of my changes to git, and then I can make use of git add, and then this period, or there's another option you can make use of, which is dash and capital A. Yep. So both changes has been added. So from U we now have A, and now we can commit the changes. Um, let me say created um main.js file. So now it gives us some information about what happened, and now we have two files changed and one insertion. So create mode, that is two different files were created. The .git ignore file was created as well as the main.js file which is created as well. And then git push to our origin. So if you come back to the repository and refresh this, yeah. So we now have our .git ignore file as well as our main.js file. So now we have this .ds underscore store file which is currently being tracked by our remote repository. How can we remove that from the remote repository? We'll talk about that now. Okay, alright. So there are different ways we can remove the file. One way is if you want to remove the file both on your local file system as well as the remote repository, or if you want to remove it from the remote repository but still leave it alone on your local file system but should be untracked by Git. Um, I'll make use of the second one or make use of both of them and we see how it works. So all you simply do is git remove, okay, which is shortened as git rm dash dash cached, and then the name of the file, which is dot ds underscore store. And now you can see it says rm, so we've successfully removed that. So if I do my git status, you can see here it says we have changes to be committed. It has deleted this .ds underscore store, and so it deleted this .ds underscore store file. Um, but we still have it, but it is just currently being untracked. So next we just do git add um git add, yep. So let me do my git status again and see. Um, no, okay. So doing git add and then this period add those files again. So if I do git status, it went back to that. So just to git rm hash. So we remove that and then commit the change. So here I can say dot ds underscore store file deleted. Okay. If I do my git status to see my status of this. So now it just says we have this file which has been untracked. Let me do git push first. So that would also make the change on the remote repository. So if I refresh this now, you can see we no longer have that file. So it has you can see we have this commit .ds underscore store file deleted. So now you can add the ds underscore store file inside this git ignore. All right. So previously I explained how you can like what's it called? Show or display your hidden files or folders. Yeah, and still here we are still not seeing the .ts underscore store file in our directory, and that's because it is an hidden file. So you simply do the same thing that we did previously. Come to code preferences, go to settings. Here in the search bar, type hidden. Okay, let me see. Okay, should I try to the hidden file? Okay, alright. So type exclude actually. Okay. So this is it here. So files exclude. These are the files that have been excluded. So here you can see the dot ds underscore store file. So just click on this remove, and then now you can see the ds underscore store file. So the ds underscore store file is a file that is usually created when you for I think for files on Mac, but while on Windows you don't get them created by default. So alright, and now you can just add this to our dot git ignore file ds underscore store and then save it, and now you can see that it is no longer being highlighted in green. And let me clear my terminal, do git status. So we can see we have a change which is being made to our, which has been made to our .git ignore file, and we can add that git add dot git commit. So I can say ignored ds underscore store file and then git push. So that's done. And if I refresh this now, so I have ignored this underscore so far. So we've explained um the concept of what's it called of .git ignore files, and that's that. Now let's talk about branches. How do you create branches? How do you make use of them? How do you delete them? Match branches and all. Okay. Let me clear my terminal first. So in order to create a new branch, use the command git branch. So git branch, the name of your branch. Let us call it feature slash um authentication. So that ran successfully. And now if you do git branch, you can see we have two branches. We have the main, and then we have this feature slash authentication branch. And you can see we have this asterisk on this main, which indicates that we are presently on the main branch. So if you want to what's it called? If you want to move to the um feature slash authentication branch, you simply do git checkout and then the name of the branch, feature slash authentication. Now you see it says I'm switched to branch feature slash authentication, and if I do git branch again, now this is being highlighted and you have the asterisk at the front of it. So if I want to go back to my main branch, I simply do git checkout and then me. So it says I'm switched to match to branch me. So there's another way you can create a new branch and also check out to it immediately, which is doing git checkout, okay, and then this dash b for branch, and then the name of the branch. So let's call it bug fix slash what should I call it? Fix model issue. So you see it says switch to a new branch bug slash fix model issue. If I do git branch here, I can see all of my branches. And so here for this command, it creates the branch and also switched or checked out to the branch immediately. So let me close this .gitignore file. Let me make some changes to this main.js file. So let me add a new console.log um created um a bug fix branch. Let me save this. Let me create a new file. Script.js. Uh, Let me have another console.log here. Um, Initialize script. Control S. So now if I do git status, let me clear my terminal first. Sorry. So clear. So git status. Now it says on branch bug fix slash fix modal issue. Changes not staged yet. So um I have this main.js file which I have not committed the changes made to it, and I have this untracked file which has not been added at all. So what I can do is simply do git add. I can do git add to add all of the changes, and now if I do my git status again, so I have these two files. This is modified, that is the main.js, and I have this new file script.js. So I can commit both using git commit. Um, Created script.js and modified main.js. So we have that already. Yeah, and now let's assume we want to push this particular branch to our remote. What we can do is do git push origin and then the name of the branch. So what's the name of the branch in this case? I think we have that here. Okay. All right. So as you can see, git push origin and then this branch. So it automatically creates that new branch. It says here to remote create a pull request for this. So new branch created bug fix slash modal fix modal issue. It has been pushed to this bug fix slash fix modal issue. So if I come here to my repository, so even without refreshing, it detects that there's a new branch that has been pushed here. So let me refresh the page. Your branch isn't protected. So let me remove this for now. And here you can see now we have two branches, unlike previously when it's just wrote one branch. And you can see we have the main branch, which is our default branch, and then we have this new branch, bug fix slash this. So you can see the last change that was made here was ignored ds underscore store file. So if you click on the number of commits here, you can see all of the changes that has been made here. Um, .ts underscore store file deleted. Then this ignored ts underscore store file. So if from here I can even open check the what's it called this other branch here, and you can see. So after this ignored ts underscore store file, we have this created script.js and modified main.js file for this particular branch, which we don't have on the other branch. So what can we do now? So if we go back to this, you can see here. So you'd be seeing this particular what's it called? This alert, which says bug fix slash fix modal issue, add recent changes, I mean recent pushes 2 minutes ago. So I can compare and pull request. Okay. So if I want to go to that branch, I can click here, or I can simply just come here and click here. It takes me to that branch. As you can see. Now I can compare and pull request. If I want to create a pull request for this. So there are some things you should take note of here. So open a pull request. This is we creating a new pull request. Um, you can see there are two what's it called? Two input fields here. One is take note of this arrow also, the direction of the arrow. So the direction of the arrow is pointing from the right hand side to the left hand side, which means that it wants to take this particular branch and take the changes in it and add it, that is merge it onto this branch. So this branch is our base branch. And don't forget earlier on we said all branches should be created off the main branch. So and now we are comparing this main branch to what sorry, we are comparing this particular branch bug fix slash fix modal issues to this branch. So should in case probably I have some other branches which I want to create the pull request for, I can just come here and what's it called? Um select that particular branch and then compare and pull request. So you can add the title for your pull request. By default it uses the last commit message. You can add some description here. If there were probably some other people on this repository, I can add them inside of this. Like I'll just select them and then it will send a notification to them that they have been asked to review this code change, and we can review it, and that works just fine. So for now to just create the pull request. So now you can see we are on the pull request. what's it called, the pull request tab, and we have one there. So we have this pull request which is currently open. So this is what I was talking about previously. So just here under this review, as if there were other people on this branch, I can simply come here and ask them to like make um to review the changes for me. So there's a chat, something like a chat section here where we can both chat about the code changes and all. So after they are done, so first of all, it says all checks have been passed. This branch has no conflict with the base branch. So if there were to be any conflict, you would need to like fix the conflict first of all before you can match the pull request. And there are different ways. You can just simply match the pull request. You can squash and match. You can rebase and match. So yeah, I would just click on match pull request, and then you see it says match pull request hash one. So the hash one is the first pull request that was matched from this particular branch, rabbit slash the name of the branch, bulk fix slash fix modal branch, and then there's a description section also for the name of the branch also. So click on confirm match. You can see now it says pull request successfully merged and closed. So the pull request has been merged already. And now if we go back um, to our code here in the main branch, you can now see we have this new commit which says merge pull request as one from this particular branch. So if I click on it, so previously on our main branch we had this was our last commit, ignored ds underscore stoffer, and now the pull request that was made was this created script.js and modified main.js. So those changes were merged into this particular branch, and that worked just fine. So as per this handout that we're making use of, can see what happened. We have this master branch. We have the different features branch, the different feature branches, as well as this bug fix branch. So after making the pull request and merging it, we now have this particular what branch is this? Feature one branch being merged onto this main branch. So that's just how it works. Yeah. So if you come back to your pull request, you can see we have zero open pull request and we have one closed pull request. So you can go back to that closed pull request, click on it. You can see the different pull requests that have been closed. So if I click on this pull request now, it says pull request successfully merged and closed. So and it gives me an option to delete this branch. So yeah, let's talk about one of the best practices um when merging branches together and doing all of those stuff, because everyone on the team would be creating their branches based off of the main branch, um probably for new features or new bug fix or other things. Then best practice suggests that once a branch has been successfully merged, you delete the branch immediately. And the reason for this is so that you do not have different branches lying around and then messing up your code base. So you just delete this branch. So the branch has been deleted. And as you can see, you can later come back and restore the branch should in case you need to do anything with it. So I'll just go back to my code here. And now you can see we have just one branch, which is our main branch. So yeah, that is it. So let me clear my code editor here. If I do git branch, so yeah, you can see we still have this bug fix branch which is being showed. You can also delete this bug fix branch from our local, or if you don't want to delete it, well, the better alternative would just be to pull changes from your remote origin. So if I do git status, it says on my branch this nothing to commit and all. And let me check out to my main branch. So I checked out to my main branch already. And now let me do my git status again. Okay. If I do git pull, okay. Now it says I'm pulling without specifying how to reconcile divergent branches and all. So this is the warning. We'll probably talk about it later on. Okay. So it pulls the changes from our main branch. And now if I do git um branch, okay, we still have the bug fix branch being showed here. So here's a way we can delete the branch. Just do git branch dash d and then the name of the branch. And in this case it is bug fix. So yeah, now it says deleted branch this. So if I do grid branch again, we no longer have the branch. Yeah, and that's fine. Alright. Um yeah. Next, what are we talking about? We talked about concept of branches, merge request, deleting branches. Now we'll talk about how to avoid merge commits by using repage and how to resolve merge conflicts. Okay, all right. So regarding this particular tool, this how you avoid merge commit as well as resolving those merge conflicts. I'll be able to like do a practical session, like explain practically because it will kind of require two different users and I can't really access two different users at the moment. But let me explain the whole concept and how it works. So yeah, okay, okay. So as you can see, we have this master branch, we have this feature branch, we have this other feature branch, and we have this bug fix branch. So every developer on the team always creates their branch based off this master branch. Now let's say you checked out to this feature branch, and then another developer also checks out to this feature branch, and you guys you are working on the same file and also on probably the same line of code. That is, maybe you make a change to a particular line of code, and another person makes another some other changes to that particular line that you also made a change to. So that's where conflict does arises. And then when you are trying to like merge those changes, Git would complain, and then the way you resolve it is that it would ask which of the changes do you want to accept. So are you accepting your own change, or that is, are you accepting this particular developer change or this other developer change, or do you want to merge both changes together? So that's the whole concept. That's what brings about um, merge conflicts as well as how you resolve them. Yeah. So we already talked about the .git ignore file. Now we'll talk about how you save work in progress changes using the stash. Um, using stash. Okay. All right. So I'm on my main branch. I have this what's it called? This script.js. Let me have or write a new console um slash test and then save it. All right. So I have this change. Now let me try and check out to another branch. Git checkout. Let me check out to this feature branch. Okay. And now you can see I'm getting an error. It says your local changes to the following files would be overwritten by checkout script.js. So I have a change in script.js, but I've not committed the changes yet. So it now tells me that please commit your changes or start them before you switch branches. and then it tells me that it aborted that particular process. So in order to check out to another branch and then save this particular work without having to commit it yet, probably because you are not yet sure if it is a code that you want to leave, what you can simply do is just stash the change, git stash, okay, and now you can see it stashes the change. It says save the working directory and index state work in progress on merge state, and now I can easily check out to another branch. Before that, okay, and then I can check out to this now. All right, let me close this. So I can now I'm presently on the featured authentication branch. I would on a normal day I'll make all my changes. I'll do the different things I want to do. Before that, let me even check the status of this if it is up to date or something. Okay, it is up to date. Um, I can go back to my branch, git checkout, me. Okay, so you can see the change we made to this script.js earlier. Where is it? How do you know where it is? So when you start changes, there's a way you can get all of those changes back by using git stash list. So you can see this is one change stash at index of 0. And now you can decide to bring that change back by using git stash. Um, Alright. So we also have the git stash apply, which you can use to like get the what's it called the changes. So it's gets that change back for us. And if you want to like discard the change, you use git stash pop. So git stash first, and now you can do git um stash list. Let me create the terminal first. It's getting dirty. So pop, and then okay it removes that change. Can see it dropped the this index the stash at index of 0. So that's that. And then modified scripts.js also. So let me was it git status. Okay, git stash this. Yeah, git stash list. Okay. Um, then git stash pop and that pop again. So that's basically how you use the git stash apply git stash pop git stash list and git stash command. First. Okay, all right. So this is we also have the git log, which also like display a log of all changes that we've had so far. So when you do git log, um, where is it? Okay, so this is git log here. You can see we have this merge which was made. So we have this branch being merged to this one. So these are two different commits and the merge. The author, who is the author and the email of the author, the date the change was made, the what's it called? the information about the merge, and then the commit message. And also, yeah, we have this commit hash, as you can see. So the commit hash is what we would be using when we want to revert changes and do things like that. So this is one um um information, like this is all of this contains information about all of the commits made on this branch so far. So this is one commit, this is another commit, this is another commit, up till where we've started. So if you want to keep going, just press the down button and you can see we've reached the end of it. So just press Q, and then that would what's it called? That would terminate that session. So that's what the git log is for. There are different commands you can use with the git log command. Um, let me see. You would have them here. There's the git log one line and stuff like that. So on this git cheat sheet, you can see different commands here and what they are used for. So git log, if you want to limit the number of commits, so git log dash 5, we will limit this to 5 commits. Git log one line will condense each commit to a single line and so on. So let's try this out. Git log one line. So you can see it just gives us the commit hash as well as details about it. You can also do git log and let's say two, so two commits. So it's limited this to just two commits, the last two commits. Um, so there are different informations there and different things they stand for and so on. I'll be sharing all of these resources inside the description section, so you can find the link to them in the description section. Yeah. Um, so going back in history, how to do this. So for example, let me clear this. If I do git log one line, sorry, one line. So if I want to like go back to the state of my code base at this particular time, where I have this updated readme.md file. So um all right. So now we'll talk about um going back in history. All right. So in my VS Code, we already have a list of our commits using the git log one option. So a good use case of this is, say for example, um you are having a bug in your code and then you want to like check maybe revert or like go back in history a particular commit. Say for example, you want to go back in time. So this particular commit created main.js file. So all we can simply do is do git checkout and then copy the name of this, the commit hash, and, and now we get an error which says your local changes to the following files would be overridden by checkout. Please commit or start them. So this is also a good use case of using git stash. Um, Alright, so we've stashed the changes and now we can now check out back to that. And now after running that successfully, we get this um it says note switching to this particular commit hash, and it says you're in a detached head state. That is, you are not in the local in the most recent states of our application. If you want to create a new branch to retain commit you create, you may do so now by using this dash c flag with the switch command. Alright, okay. And now it says our head. So this head, what it means by head is a pointer So what state of application we are in. So it is at this particular commit D5EC3BT, which is this commit that we checked out to. So and as you can see, um it has reverted us back to like it took us back in time to the old state of application. So if you want to like create a branch based on this particular commit, you can do that with this command git switch dash c and then the name of this and any branch name you decide. So let's do that. Um, what name can I give it? Um, this is underscore main. And now it says you've switched to a new branch, prove me. So if I do git branch now, we are in this present um branch, prove me. So if I do git log one line, so you can see okay, and that's just that. So if I want to go back to my what's it called? Um to the branch I was in before I checked out to this old state, I can just do git um checked out and then the name of the branch. And in this case, let me check. It was bug fix. No, I think it was the main branch. Yeah. And then if I do git log again, one line, you can see we are now back. This particular comment is 185 CD05, which is this 185 CD05. So that's how you can go back in time to a particular commit and probably for testing purposes or whatever you want to use it for. And now if I do my git branch again, I have the prove main, which is not necessary. I can delete it. Yeah, that's deleted already. Alright, so that's that. Next we'll talk about how we can undo changes and um how we can undo and change commits using the git reset, git reverse, and git commit amend command. Okay, alright. So what I'll do now is create a new folder here. Let me call it node modules. Okay, and let me create some files under it. Um, bcrypt.js. Let me create a folder. Loaders. Um, let me create some more folder. Um, Redux. Alright. So if you are a JavaScript developer, a front-end developer, or familiar with the ecosystem, you would know about node modules. So node modules is a folder where all your dependencies are being kept um, in place, and yeah. So you always would not want to like commit your node modules, and so what you would simply do is um, add it here in your .gitignore file. So node underscore. I'm not sorry. Uh, modules and then you can save it. So after saving, you can now observe that the node modules folder is no longer highlighted in green. That's because presently now it has been added to the git ignore, and it is no longer being tracked by git. So I can simply commit this out. Let me see. Alright, so the node module folder is now being tracked again by git, and if I do git status, alright, so you can see we have this contract file, the node modules, and then we have this .git ignore file, which is because of this node modules that we added here. So let me add the change and then commit it. Okay. Should I push? I think there's no need to push it. So okay, yeah, let me push it. Alright. So if I do git log now or git status, so we have a clean open branch. If I do git log, um you can see here we have this commit, which is the one we use for the add node modules. And yeah, so um the concept of what was it called, git reset, or second please. Yeah, so as you were saying, and the concept of git reset, there are two ways you can use it. You can use it with two different flags, git reset soft, or git reset hard. So let's assume you notice that okay, you made a mistake, and then this commit, particular commit, added node modules, you want to like discard it and then take um your state of your application to this previous state or to some other state. So what you can do here is simply do git reset hard, and then add um so first of all, you need to understand that whenever we say add means the present state of our application. Okay. Um so this add should be small letter, and then we have this what's it called, um this sign, I can't remember the name. So the number at the front of this is referring to okay, how many commits back in time do you want to go to. So I'm using one, which means it should take the pointer away from this particular commit to this one, to this commit. That's one. So if I change it to two, it will take it so two steps backward. So one, two, and to bring it back to this created script.js modified main.js. So git reset dash dash add and then 8 and 1. You can see now. It says 8 is now at this particular commit, which if you check here, what commit is this? 185 cd05, 185 cd05. So it is now in this other commit. Now if we do git log one line, you can now see we now have the okay, we have node modules. I think node modules should be discarded now. Added node this created script.js and modified this multiple requests. Okay. Um, big script. Okay. Yeah. So that's git reset art. Which would discard the change entirely. But however, how about if you want to like discard, no, not discard the change, if we make it a correction to a particular change, but not this got it. So let me make some other change here. Console.log um added new line. Okay. So let me clear the terminal and then git status. So we have this main.js which is modified. Let me add a change, commit it. So I already added the change and committed it already. Now okay, so um so we are now in this what's it called? This is where we are. Added new line. So what do I want to do? Git reset and then add one. So I'm taking it back to this particular commit. But in this case, I'm not discarding it. Or it would take it to this, and then I'll be able to like make changes to the um like correct the changes. So it is important to note that yeah, I'm not using the add flag like it was done previously. So by default, the option here is soft. So you can choose to add the option soft or just remove it entirely. And the default there is soft. So if I do this log online again, you can see it has it discarded the commit and then took me back to the previous commit by like one step backward, but it did not remove this change that was made. So I can now maybe make a correction to the code or, and then recommit it again. I can add the change and then commit it. So we now have this new commit, and the previous commit was removed with this new change. So that's basically how we use git reset, both the add option as well as the soft option. Okay, alright. So let's look at another scenario. Um let's say a new change was made um successfully updated headers, okay, and then we add the change, we commit the change. Alright. Um Now if you do git log online, you can see we have this commit here, updated headers. So let's say for example you observe that okay there's a mistake in this and then there are still some changes that needs to be done. Say for example it's ought to be updated headers and footer. You save the change again. You can see it is not been highlighted again. So if you do git status, you have some what's it called? Some unstaged changes that you need to add and commit. So if you do git add, you've already added it. But you don't want to create an entirely new commit for this. You want the commit to be merged inside this previous commit. How can we do that? You use git commit main, and so you know this is Vim editor, so just write and create. So I'm still using the same commit message, updated it as, and yeah, so that worked just fine. And the changes have been committed into this commit updated it as. If I do git um log one line again, you can see so no new commit was created. The commit or the changes were just being matched into this already existing commit. So that's that. And let's see, is it push? Alright, so we successfully pushed our changes to the remote, and if I refresh this, okay, we have this updated address which was made just a minute ago. Alright, so let's assume we want to remove this node modules here. Let me do git log one line. So the node modules folder was added in this particular commit. So let me say I want to go back in time to this commit. Just before the node modules folder was added, I can do git reset art, and now you can see I would be going one step, two steps, three steps. So I'll be going three steps backward. So that's one, two, three. So that would be three steps. Now it says head is now at 185 CD05. 185 CD05. That is at this particular match pull request. Okay, yes, sure. And so if you try let me see git status, if you no changes, it says our branch is behind origin main, that is our remote repository, by three commits. So if you try pushing to it, git push, so we get an error, rejected. Saying update were rejected because it's noticed that this branch is this object updates were rejected because the tip of the current branch is behind the remote branch. So what we can do here is you can force the push by using git push dash dash force, or dot dash f. So and now the update has been forced. So if we refresh it now, yeah, so the change has been made. Fine. You can see we are back in time just in this micro refresh. Yeah. So one more thing we would be learning is the git reverse command. So yeah, that reminds me. So it is now a good practice to do what we just did now. If you are working on the master branch, or maybe on the main branch whereby people are constantly pushing and putting changes. So, but you can make use of this if you're working on a branch, probably only you are working on, maybe a feature branch or a bug fix branch, because you know you'll be the only one working on that particular branch. So the downside is if you do something like this on the main branch and you already you'd be messing up with the Git histories, and other developers working on it would have issues, and it would be quite tough or take some more time in order to like get around it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. So what would be an alternative for Git reset? when probably the issue is on the master branch. So let me set terminal. Let me make a new change here. Um, alright, guys. So let's say we have this some probably a set of code change made to the code. You add the changes, you commit them, for the test, and then we push these changes. Alright. Refresh this. Okay, now we have this change which has been made. Test. So what we can do here is git revert. Okay, before that, git log one line, and then you can do git revert, and then the commit hash. So yeah, notice that what's it called? The commit message here says revert, and then the initial commit message. So you can just WQ, that is, right, and create it. Don't forget the colon sign there. So and now if you do git log again to check, you can see it says so we have this test commit that was made, and then we have this new commit here, which is reverse commit. So what it does is that it reverts the change of, like, the entire change of this test. So it's just revert that, and you can see we no longer have that here. So if you were to like push to the remote, there won't be any issues. I'm using reverse on, like, using reset. So um I hope that's clear. Alright. So the last thing we'll be looking at is merging branches and how to go about them. So a quick explanation on a good use case of it is, say for example you have your main branch, and then you are working on a particular feature branch. You've made your changes to that particular feature branch, and now you need to merge the changes from the feature branch onto your main branch and then push. Or probably you are working on the feature branch for some days, and then some other developers somewhere else have made changes to the main branch, and the main branch is far updated, and your own main branch is not updated yet. So first of all, you would pull the changes onto your local repository and ensure that the main branch is updated, and then merge from the main branch onto your probably your feature branch or something. So let's check this out. What branches do we have? So we have two branches here. Let me check out. So this feature branch. Okay. Um, let me create a file. Um, index.html. All right. So let's say we've made this change to the feature slash authentication branch. Let's add this commit. All right. Now In order to match this change, first of all, you need to ensure that your main branch is updated. So I'm checking out to the main branch. And how do we ensure that it's updated? By doing git pull. Okay, alright. So as you can see, it says it is already up to date. This is just some warning here. So let me check out back to that. I'm back in the feature branch. So what I would do now is let me premise this terminal. Git merge main. So this main is the source. So presently we are in the feature slash authentication branch. So we need to merge, that is, take the changes inside this particular branch and onto our source branch, which is the main. So you add the, what's it called? The option, or no, the argument that you'd be adding here should be the source branch. That is the branch you intend to like merge the changes onto. So in our case, it is the main branch. Okay, it says let me see, merge. So it has already given us a default what's it called? A default commit message here, which is a merge branch main into this. So I can just write and quit, and yeah, that has been made already. So git log one line. Please merge branch main into this. And then if you check out to the main branch, and also git log, 1 second. Okay, so what we did previously was reverse. So we said git merge main, that is, it should um take the changes inside of the main branch and then merge it into this particular branch, which is the feature slash authentication branch. um Presently we are in what branch? Git branch. So we are in the main branch. If you do git status, this is up to date. So in order to take the changes inside of the feature slash authentication branch and merge it here, we can do git merge feature slash authentication, and as you can see, it merges the change in it, and we have the index.html inside here. So that would be the end of this. I think we already checked everything here except Git for DevOps, which is not required for this particular session. The links to all of these resources would be dropped inside the description section. Um, yeah, so that's basically the majority of things in Git. Thank you.